This is something I was considering for a while, showing off what I've added to my collection. I mentioned in my first video that I loved collecting games, so as a filler while I record and script my next episodes, I thought I'd show off what I added recently. Not just games, but other things I'd want to show off. Any weird editing issues are because I'm recording this voiceover after recording the video itself, so I may end up talking longer than the part of the video I'm covering. I tried a live commentary, but it didn't work out. I don't have the confidence to do the whole thing unscripted. And also, apologies if the camera angle is odd. I've never done anything like this before and this angle was simply the best I could get considering what was around me at the time. This is what I bought throughout February and March 2021. Not as much as some might expect compared to some other bigger channels. I don't have the money a lot of those channels do. While writing the Soul Blade script, I got in a big Soul Calibur mood for a bit, so I thought I'd buy the only physically released game I didn't own yet, Soul Calibur Legends on the Wii. Of course I don't have a complete collection of this series yet, different console releases and all that, but I do now have every game on at least one platform. Soul Calibur 2 I even have on all 3 consoles it was released on. Adding on to that, if you watched that video, you know I had a lot of praise for Li Long, so when I found out he did in fact have merch, I bought it. This little figure is probably the only thing he has. The set this was in was base arcade roster only, so no Huang merch sadly. Finally, the limited edition Brady Games strategy guide to Soul Calibur 4. This one comes with the game's soundtrack. I did order one more thing, but the seller cancelled sadly. So I likely won't be completing any console sets for a while now, but I can complete sets of very small series with few releases. So, a game I already did a video on, State of Emergency. Here's the PC version, and State of Emergency 2 on the PS2, the only console it was released on. This combined with my PS2 and Xbox copies of the first game gives me a complete collection of State of Emergency games. Not the most exciting thing, but I like completing little sets and filling in small gaps like that. Next, one game for the console I am aiming for a complete set of, the GameCube. I have somewhere between 250 and 270 games total, so a little over a third of the entire library. The console I had the most games on is the PS2 by the way, with over 300. Only one game the last couple months though, Batman Rise of Sin Tzu. This is another milestone though, as it was the last Batman game I needed for the system, having already owned Vengeance Begins and Dark Tomorrow. Breaking down a console library by series is a good way to keep the amount you're missing from being overwhelming, I think. Then my secondary full set aim, the Wii U. Before the ones I bought the last 2 months, I had exactly 80. Not that much for a collector, but way too much in comparison to the amount of people who even bought Wii U's. I got to add Rabbids Land, LEGO The Hobbit, and LEGO Jurassic World to my collection. Now I have every unique LEGO game on the Wii U. I'm still missing many special edition variants that came with minifigs. Then we have 3 more games on other consoles. First, Disney's Aladdin on the Master System. Not related to the Virgin Mega Drive game aside from using the cover art, it's a completely different thing. Then, my first Game Gear game, because I don't actually have the system. Fatal Fury Special, a Japanese copy. I'm slowly getting close to covering Fatal Fury 2 and Special according to the schedule I set, and this was the last version I needed to buy what I wanted to cover. I don't own a Game Gear and there would be no way for me to record the game from the cart anyway, so I'd have to use an emulator. As a collector, that bugs me, so I'd still rather own the physical game first if there's no official digital re-release. When it comes to arcade games with no other release, I'm out of luck and would just have to use the emulator. Finally for the PS1, Star Wars Masters of Teräs Käsi. I got in a tiny Star Wars mood doing the Revenge of the Sith video and yesterday's April Fool's video, that the internet then choked out of me as usual, but in that time I bought this. When it comes to Star Wars games on the PS1, that's my 4th, I'm still missing Dark Forces and Lethal Alliance 2. Now on to some merch, starting with the Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories manga. I bought and read the manga based on the first game last year because I was curious and it wasn't very good. This one also wasn't very good, but had the decency to be 1 volume instead of 2. Next, Amiibo. I hadn't bought an Amiibo since early 2018, but with the Smash Ultimate Banjo and Kazooie Amiibo coming out last week, I had to get it. I also decided to get the Richter Belmont Amiibo too. I did order a third, but it didn't arrive in time for the video. We'll have to be next video if people are interested. Finally, some Doctor Who stuff. I'd bought all of William Hartnell's run on DVD back in 2017 after only buying the odd random story for years, but fell off for a bit and this year I only started getting them again. I bought the first half of Patrick Troughton's DVDs back in January and got the rest these last 2 months. The Dominators, The Mind Robber, The Invasion, The Crotons. Revisitations 2, containing special editions of The Seeds of Death, Carnival of Monsters and Resurrection of the Daleks. And to finish off the set of Troughton episodes that aren't lost, The War Games. I decided to stop there for now rather than get right onto the Pertwee stories. To close things off, I also bought some Big Finish CDs. I had a few for a while, but only really started buying them this year. I bought Real Time, Dead London, and Fin Time / Madquake. The latter I haven't listened to yet, so it's still sealed. I've mainly been using them as background noise for when I have a lot of grinding to do in a game I'm recording. And that's it. As I've said before, not a lot compared to what others might have for theirs, but I'm still glad to have what I bought. I thought a few viewers might get something out of this. Plus, even if I couldn't do this unscripted, I'm sure being willing to put my hands in living room carpet on camera must help my confidence in some way. But yeah, I'll try to get one of these out every month. If I have a dry month, I may just skip it and lump two together like I did with this one. We'll see.